Hey everyone, it's me. Welcome to Bible Basics. In this video, we're going to look at the basics of the flood, the story of Noah and the ark. You can find this account in Genesis, chapters 6 through 9. Now, the first thing that we see in this passage is that there was a global problem. It says here in Genesis chapter 6, verse 5, that the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Now, it is important for us to understand that this isn't just saying that people were doing bad stuff. The word for wickedness here is the Hebrew word avoda, which actually means idolatry. So what this passage is saying is that people had turned their hearts away from God and were worshipping other gods. Now, the result of that, the result of their wickedness, it says in verse 6, that it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him to his heart that he had made them. And so God said, I'm gonna destroy them, I'm gonna wipe them out. I'm gonna wipe out all the things that are on the earth, all the things that are on the land. I'm just gonna wipe them all out, and he would have done that. But look at verse 7. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Now, the word grace here, the Hebrew word is chen, and it speaks of favor. So what did Noah do to get on God's good side? Well, Noah was a righteous man, blameless in his generation. He walked with God, and it says that Noah was a preacher of righteousness. So Noah was someone who proclaimed the true God, the living God, to a wicked and sinful generation. So when God said, I'm going to destroy all the things on the earth because they've become wicked, they've turned their hearts away from me. Noah, you're not like that. You are my child. I'm going to tell you something that no one else knows. I'm going to give you a heads up. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. So God tells Noah what he's going to do. Verse 14, make yourself an ark of gopher wood. So what God is saying to Noah, build yourself a boat, build yourself a big boat out of these trees, and he gives him the dimensions of this boat. It has to be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. And then God says, make an entrance, make some windows, and cover it with pitch inside and outside. Pitch was basically a sticky tar substance that would keep the water out. So God is telling Noah, build yourself a boat. This boat needs to be big enough to fit your family, but also to fit two of every kind of animal, male and female. So in other words, God is telling Noah, build yourself a zoo, a big zoo with an aquarium attached to it, because I am about to bring judgment on the earth, and only those who are in the ark are going to survive. Now, when God finished speaking to Noah, then the rains came. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights, and the rain was so heavy, it says in verse 17, that all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of the heavens were opened, and water was coming out of the clouds and out of the ground. All life was destroyed, everything that was on the land died, but Noah and his family and all the animals that were in the ark, they lived, they survived. And then after the rain stopped, it says in chapter 8 that the waters were still covering the earth, but then the earth began to dry. So day 1, God said, let the water be gathered together. So the water started receding. Day 2, Noah sent out a dove to see if the water was receding, and when the dove came back, it didn't find any dry land. Day 3, he sent out the dove again, and this time the dove found a leaf from a tree. That meant that the land was drying out. Then 40 days later, Noah sent out the dove again, and this time it found dry land and it didn't come back anymore. Now once the waters had completely receded and everything was dry, then God made a covenant with Noah, a promise, a vow, an oath, call it whatever you want. But God promised never to destroy all living creatures again by flood. In fact, look at verse 22, all the days that you live, the earth shall remain. Plant a garden, eat its fruit, and its every tree which whose fruit yields seed. You may eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, lest you die. So, this is the order of events. People became wicked, God was grieved. Noah preached, Noah built the ark, the flood came, the ark survived, God made a covenant with Noah, and what was the symbol of that covenant? What do you think? Was it a big rainbow? Yep, that's right. So now whenever we see a rainbow, what does it remind us of? God's promise, God's faithfulness, God's word. Well, I hope this video helped you see the big picture of the flood, the story of Noah and the ark. If you want to know more about the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, check out our video series where we go deeper into the book of Genesis. Until next time, thanks for watching.